Okay, how's it going, guys? So I wanted to go through this worksheet with you, which is a way for you to set goals. And when you're setting goals, you have to bear in mind that you need the bigger scope of things. Like, if you're able to understand what your goal is, and then what plan you're going to put in place for that goal, and then the system that you're going to be using day to day that helps with that plan, you obviously have your, which the acronym is GPS, right? And this framework was actually taken from Ali Abdaal. So I watched a video from Ali Abdaal about financial freedom, and he speaks about the GPS framework that he uses, right? And I've just made it a bit more of an ADHD friendly type of worksheet based off that. So I got inspiration from that, and I'll link the video in the description as well of the video that I'm talking about, and let you know the timestamp where he talks about this. But I really wanted to do something that would be for the community and a way for the community to benefit from setting goals, because when it comes to goal setting, it can be quite tedious in many ways, because a lot of the time, especially if you have ADHD, the chances are you're probably trying to set goals in your head and you're not writing things down, and then the next day you forget, and then you have another goal that you set and then you forget, and another, and then there's this hamster wheel that you're on constantly, just trying to keep up, right? And when you're able to just complete this worksheet, you know how you're going to get to that goal. That's what the aim of this is that you know how to get to the goal now. So I'm going to use one example. I want to try and do these videos more so that there's more examples given. This example, I want it to be around language learning. And then I don't know, if you add a comment, like maybe just let me know what your your goal is, right? What your achievement is that you want to have, and then maybe I could create a video based on that, right? But for now, I just want to do one example just so that you can actually see how we fill this in. And any questions, let me know. And I'm really at the beginning stages of obviously just making this available to people. So feedback is always going to be helpful. And there's a link down below as well of the PDF that you can download, and you can import it into your iPad and maybe write on top of your iPad, which is what I'm doing right now. Or you can have the interactive version where you actually get to use it as a PDF. It's interactive, and you just type in whatever you want to add in these fields. And yeah, like it's also obviously something you can print out as well, so you can do a print out of this if you're someone who likes pen and paper, and take advantage that way. So the first thing I'm going to do now is go through the first section, which is goal, right? And as you can see there is an acronym underneath goal, which is ADHD, and it's achievement, desire, habit, and deadline. When it comes to setting a goal, it's very, very important that you look at what you want to achieve first. So like what it actually looks like in the present tense. So you will be saying it as if you've already achieved it, right? And that's why A for achievement is the most important one, in terms of just knowing what will someone see from the outside looking in that determines that you've actually achieved that goal. So for example, we're talking about language learning, right? So an achievement would be, I can confidently hold a conversation for 10 minutes in Spanish on an everyday topic, right? That's the achievement. If someone sees you speaking for 10 minutes and you're really comfortable in your skin and you're doing that, that means you've achieved the goal, right? And someone can clearly see that. So it's something that is very clear to see from someone outside looking in. You might say that your goal is to reach 100,000 followers. If someone goes to your channel and they see 100,000 followers, it's very clear they can see that you've achieved that goal, right? So it's very important that you say it as if you've already achieved it. So let's do that now. Just write, I can and my handwriting is terrible, so you just have to bear with me on this. Hold a conversation for 10 minutes in Spanish. Now, you might want to go a bit more in depth, right? You might want to say, I will be at the B2 level, and the way that you be at B2 level is obviously by passing an exam, right? So maybe you're doing, you're starting learning Spanish at school, for example, and in this school, you say to yourself, look, listen, I need to do, A1 and A2, and once I've done that, I'll have an exam at the end, and I'll pass those, and then I'll be at B2 level. So your achievement would be that I am now at B2 level in Spanish, which actually, to be fair, I just prefer if I maybe use that instead as the example. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I've just given you guys a chance to be able to do it yourself as well. So just write your one down, whatever it is, or pause the video if you want to think a bit more about what this goal will be for you and that you want to achieve, right? So the next thing we're looking at is desire. Now, the desire is the why you desire to have that result. Like, why? Like, what is the reason for that? And if you think about it, the reason why you want something is very important for you to have it there and as a reminder, so that you don't sway away from things. There's a book that I can't remember the name of the book now, but Ali Adar was talking about, and I'm going to dive into that book. I think it's called Hell Yeah or No. I'm paraphrasing, but I think it's called Hell Yeah or No. So you have to learn how to say no to things, right? And the only way you're going to know how to say no to things is if you know why you're doing something in the first place, so that anything that comes into, you interact with that has nothing really to do with helping you achieve that desired result that you want, of course, it's easy for you to say, oh, no thanks, no thank you. Of course, if we don't have goals, what we do is we become reactive and we start reacting to other people's pitch of, oh yeah, and buy this product from me, buy this course, download my PDF. Obviously, like what I'm doing now, but obviously if this is a goal of yours, there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing here, right? Because you've clicked on this video for a reason, to be able to obviously set goals for yourself, right? But if there's someone who just pops up on your algorithm randomly because you've watched a video that is related to something else, and they're trying to pitch you on doing something that it might be of interest to you, but it's not really a goal that is going to move you forward in your journey. But you could say yes to it because you're curious to learn more about the thing, but it's just another distraction, basically. Like building websites. I'd love to learn how to build websites, but out of the two things that I'm passionate about at the moment, one is coaching. If I was to do web design and become, a web designer that's creating websites for people, how much time am I going to have to do coaching? It's going to take away from doing coaching. So, as much as it looks really desirable, like, oh, amazing, like, yeah, build websites. Yeah, and this person showed me how to build a website from scratch. It looks amazing. It's still a distraction because it's not really part of my core, obviously, intentions for what I want for my life, right? Coaching is just up there. It's just, I want to be coaching, full stop. That's what I want to be doing every day. So, and in my full-time job, actually, I'm a manager of 11 people. So I do generally coach people anyway, but I want to do it in a field where I'm obviously more passionate in that field. So I'm obviously passionate about ADHD because I was diagnosed in a couple of months ago. And because I want to coach people to obviously help them set goals, I want to help them to create systems that can make a difference to their life, of course, right? And I want to be able to do that for those people. That's the type of management or coaching or mentorship that I want to be involved in, right? I do that in my 9 to 5. My 9 to 5 actually has something completely different for how I manage my team. So yeah, I enjoy the job, but of course, if it's to weigh up what I like more, of course, I love doing what I'm doing here now, right? So desire. So why do I desire to have this achievement? The reason why I desire it is because I would love to be fluent and be confident, right? So confidence could be one thing, right? It could be that I want to expand my cultural understanding. So yeah, I'll say this: expand cultural understanding. Like I said, it's going to be different for everyone else, right? And maybe, for example, it could be prepare for future trip abroad. Maybe I don't live in Spain, and I'm ready to go to Spain, and I want to be able to ask questions to people on the street, like, oh, how do you get to this place or that place? So prepare for future holiday. Speak confidently. Like, I mean, it's up there already of the achievement. So it's kind of like, speaking, I could say speaking with confidence, and say with confidence. It might even be that, I don't know, you want to land a job and you're required to speak Spanish, and you know, like it could be the desire that you can end up landing one of the jobs that you like to do in Spain, but because your level is too low, maybe you can't get that role, right? There's many things you can add here, right? I'm just brainstorming things that, you know, could be potentially there. You do what works for you, right? And then there's a habit. For H is for habit. Habit is a identity that you are going to shift, and you have to model someone who is already where you want to be. So if I look at my situation, for example, I'm going to take it away from this Spanish thing for a moment, just take it to my situation, right? So I want to create content on YouTube, right? And me creating content on YouTube will require me to show up, right, in a particular way, right? And there's content creators that I look up to who are doing exactly what I want to do, but of course they've got hundreds of thousands of followers, millions even followers or subscribers, right? And I obviously want to model them, right? So for me, being that I'm someone who's starting out on YouTube, what are the habits that the people that I look up to, Ali Abdal, Dan Cole, Andrew Kirby, what are all these content creators or mentors, synthesizers, what are they doing that I need to adopt in my daily habits? Like, what habits are they adopting? So they most definitely have a schedule, right? They must have a schedule, like, for sure. They must map out their day. They must have, like, I don't know, time blocking that they do, right? Maybe they prepare the night before. These are things that I need to adopt. I need to shift. Like, maybe I'm not doing that now. I'm not doing any blocking of time, for example. I'm not working out what my next video idea is going to be. I'm not thinking ahead. I'm not planning ahead. I'm not scheduling my posts. I'm not doing video outlines, scripting. Maybe I'm not doing any of that, right? But if I was to look at how they position themselves on YouTube, it's highly likely that they're doing something like that, or they've spoken about what they do in the video, right? So these are the habits that you need to shift your identity with. Like, you need to use that as inspiration for the identity that you're going to be walking into, because you can't go by how you are now and model it from that. You have to think of, what would Andrew Kirby be doing right now? What would he be doing? What is Dan Cole doing? Like, he's posting every single platform, like, and he's posting the different formats. Like, so he's got a video, and then that video he'll convert into a tweet, and then that tweet he'll convert into a newsletter turned into a podcast episode. That he basically distributes everything from one piece of content or one idea, right? So what would he be doing right now? He won't just be like, oh, yeah, just go with the flow. No, he's gonna actually be mapping out, planning, having systems in place, right, to be able to control that. So I need to look at how he's doing things, and what things is he doing that I'm not doing. What would he be doing in this situation right now? Would he be scrolling through social media just like, oh yeah, no, let's check this this entertainment funny video? Like, no, I don't think he's got time for that. He's running a multi-million business operation, like 7 figures, like 8 figures even, right? So what are they doing? Whatever they're doing, I need to write it down here. So for someone who has an habit of being the confident person that speaks, fluently or for 10 minutes in Spanish, what would someone who is speaking and in the position that I want to be in, what would they be doing? What habits? So they'll be practicing Spanish in maybe 20 minutes a day. They'll be constantly, I don't know, watching programs in Spanish, maybe in Spanish, immersing themselves in the language, in the culture. Handwriting's terrible, guys, but I just want to get this video out, man. It's my first video. Do you know what? In a year's time, I'm not going to really care about this. I'll be able to do it a different way. Maybe I'm going to type it next time. But yeah, I need to get this video out, man. Like, I'll be honest with you, this is the first video. Like, I can't expect too much, right, from that, right? So immersing yourself in the culture, for culture. What else? They'll be listening to podcasts, right? They'll probably be listening to Spanish podcasts, doing language exchanges, maybe practicing every day, right? So like practicing every day. So with that being said, obviously now we have the last one, which is deadline. So you have to set a deadline for this, and a lot of people miss this part because, especially if we've got ADHD, like we just kind of just feel like, you know, it could just be like, you know, someday I'll do that, or yeah, you know, one day I'm gonna get that out of the way. Like, look, you need a deadline. We don't want to be sitting on this for too long. Yeah, we want this accomplished as soon as possible so we can work on the next thing that we're excited about, because we're always excited about something, right? So we're not ever going to run out of things that we want to do. But if we don't have a deadline, we're going to be sitting down juggling 3 or 4 things at once. That's when we get overwhelmed, right? What is the deadline? Let's just say, I don't know, February. Let's say this year, right? Let's just say October. Let's say October the 30th, 2024. Look, you need somewhere where you can start to map out what your actions are going to be between now and that time. That's the measure that you're going to have. You're going to have this measurement of like, okay, so I've got this amount of time to achieve this. What things do I need to do within this time frame to achieve that goal? How much output would I need to do within that time, the space of time, right? So if I say that I want to get 10k subscribers, right, on YouTube, it's not up to me whether I get 10,000, right? It's not up to me. It's up to people who watch the video, click it and say, yep, do you know what? I like this video. Bang, I'm going to subscribe, right? It's up to them. But what am I going to do? What actions am I going to do between now and the deadline to achieve that goal? I have to output stuff. I need to promote my stuff. I need to show people that I'm here to stay, right? And I have to provide value. There's lots of stuff I will need to do leading up to the deadline, right? Now the deadline might come up. I might get 5k. I might even get 100 followers. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you get to measure. Okay, so based on this time frame, so far this week I've got 5 subscribers per day, right? So if I've got 5 subscribers per day by just doing what I'm doing now, I would have to do maybe this much output, or I'd have to maybe promote more videos doing what I'm doing. You literally get to measure what your output needs to be for you to achieve the daily metrics that you maybe want for the day. Or like, that's what I do with my online community, is that I average on maybe getting 4 or 5 people a day, right, that come and they join my free community, right? By that, I get to see that, okay, by the end of September, I should have this much members, and that's what my target is. And what have I been doing to get 4 to 5 people into my community? Well, I have to send them voice notes and thank them for engaging with my content, remind them that I have a free community, and if they're interested in joining, they can join. How many times am I doing that a day? Maybe I have to do 100 a day. Like, maybe that's what's me giving me 5. Like, maybe my conversion is 5%. Maybe that's what my conversion is. So I have to do 100 voice notes, or 100 engaging with 100 people per day to get 5 of them to be like, oh, do you know what? I like what you said there. I'm gonna join. So with that being said, if I want a certain amount of people in my community, I know what my metric is daily that I need to be accomplishing right now to get to that, right? So that's you know, that's as clear as it gets, right? It's really, really important. Like, it's so important. And I really hope that this has not got in the front of my screen. I think it has, you know. I didn't really want that to be sitting there, but yeah, it is what it is. Right, so anyway, first video, guys, like I said, man, and I want to keep it raw as well, because I don't want to be doing all this editing and then I don't get to post it today. I want to post this today. So yeah, next we're on plan, right? So plan is the action list. So there's going to be a set of actions that you need to take, like I just mentioned earlier, to get to your deadline, right? So, I mean, what actions are they going to be? You have to get pretty clear on that, right? Let's see. So maybe an action would be to research. It might be just find 2, let's see. You're just going to write down everything, right? So if you think about all the things that are potentially going to get you there, so you need to download an app. What I'd suggest is just turning the page around. If there's loads of actions that will take you to get to where you need to get to, and then you'd obviously have to turn the page over and just brainstorming all these bunch of ideas. So we was talking about maybe you getting to B1 level, right, of Spanish, right? If that was the goal, right? I want to be at B1 level. If you want to be at B1 level, you're required to do A1 and A2, right? And then you have to do a test that obviously gets you to B1. So it might be that the first action is everything to do with A1, right? So it'll be downloading podcasts. So maybe you could say, that there's a few podcasts that you want to learn from, so you could listen to them like once or twice a day. So you'd be downloading a podcast. It could be that you do, streak 10 minutes a day with Duolingo. And the objective here is, like I said, you just got to write down a bunch of things that you like that will get you there, right? Listen to podcasts will get you there. Watching TV in Spanish and with the subtitles is going to help you get there. Doing Duolingo is going to help you get there. Speaking to people as much as you can in Spanish, just putting yourself out there and just like maybe spending, I don't know, 5 minutes a day just going into a community that are learning to speak Spanish as well, and maybe just practicing speaking with them, maybe writing to them back and forth. These are all actions that you'll be taking, right? But then you have to identify what the top 3 would be, and that'll be your dominoes, right? That's your top 3 priorities. So what's the top 3 things that you need to do right now, basically, that are going to get the ball rolling? So you don't have Duolingo on your phone. Obviously, that might be one of the main goals, right? Download Duolingo or whatever learning app that you want to use. It might be, look, listen, I need to find a podcast that is beginner friendly that I can subscribe to. Like that might literally be just the action that you need to do now. So that once you've got those, you then obviously can put a system in place that keeps you up to date with obviously that plan, right? Which we're going to get to obviously the rest of the plan that you need to address, right? So you've got your dominoes. Your dominoes will be your top three priorities, right? You write down whatever those priorities are. You now need to look at the hyper-focus session. So a hyper-focus session is basically a slot that you block time for, and you could use the Pomodoro technique, which is basically where you do 25 minutes of hyper-focus on a specific task and then 5-minute break. And you do that 4 times probably throughout your day if you've got a chance to do that. And then you take a 15-minute break after that. A hyper-focus session will be at least 25 minutes, right? Or you can decide that maybe a hyper-focus session will be 10 minutes is enough for you. Typically, 25 minutes is a very good time to have as a focus session for the first one, right? And your top 3 priorities, maybe some of them might even take less than that time, right? But what you're doing is you're not really saying, okay, so you might say that your top dominoes, right, is to download Duolingo, right? But your hyper focus session will be 25 minutes of doing Duolingo per day, right? So you put the hyper focus session into your calendar, you type in a block of maybe, I don't know, it's 10 o'clock in the morning that you want to do this every day. You put that block in your calendar of choice, whether it's a digital one or a a paper one. You add the hyper focus session which is related to those dominoes, right? What you've crafted. So you might be listening to a podcast, one podcast episode a day, right? And that podcast might be 15-20 minutes long, right? No problem. You could listen to that podcast and you could take notes at the same time. So that might end up taking you 25 minutes. You might do Duolingo for 25 minutes and just constantly just do that for 25 minutes and just constantly do as much lessons as you can. And then once you've done that, of course, you take your 5-minute break and then you could say that you've achieved that for that day. That's what the hyper focus session is all about. It's blocking time for you to do these things, because if you don't block the time, it doesn't exist. And someone else is going to call you and say, oh, yeah, I've got this stressful problem. And they're going to tell you about this problem in that slot. And you're not going to be able to say, oh, sorry, I've got this thing come up that I need to do, right? You can't say no to people if you ain't got anything in your agenda. Or obviously you can. Maybe you could just say, oh, I'm busy, right? And you're not busy, right? But generally, your day is going to be swaying into another direction that you don't want it to be in if you just basically don't have anything planned. So if I don't have any plans for today, someone else is going to make a plan for me. I end up purchasing a course that I didn't even need. Like, I'm going to end up watching a video that I weren't supposed to watch, but I watched it in the end. I binged on it. Oh, I end up watching the whole season of something that I didn't really need to do that moment. I could have actually been learning Spanish instead. I've done it in English as well, so I made it even worse. What's going to happen then? I'm going to start feeling bad that I didn't do that hyper focus session, that I didn't follow through on this thing that I said that I wanted to achieve. You're not congruent with the actions that you've set yourself, which is obviously from that desire, right? So the desire and the habit identity is really going to help you to remind you, look, listen, this is my priorities right now. Is this thing that I'm about to do aligned with this? Not really, right? And then you get to obviously navigate better because you have a very clear scope of what's going on, right? So the next thing is obviously delegate. So once you've done your hyper focus session, I recommend, if you want to go over the hyper focus session, so maybe do 25 minutes and he said he's going to do this one thing and then that's it. You might get really amped and yeah, do you know, I'm going to do another 10. Yeah, like I'm just going to go all out now today. Try to just do the 25-minute slot. Or if it's a 50-minute slot, just try to do the 50-minute slot and then leave it where it is. And then delegate whatever the next thing is to do for the next day. Why do I say that? Because it gets you more excited to do that thing the next day. If you're just trying to cram it all in one day, you end up burning yourself out. The next day, there's nothing there for you. You need to always be with, done this hyper focus session, what is the next thing that I need to do with this thing that I've just been talking about, and prepare yourself for that. So that could be literally night routine. So delegate is really a lot to do with night routine. It's a lot to do with, what am I doing the next day now? What am I going to put in that slot now? So you have hyper focus session, whatever it is, in the block for that day. But the next day, you either have a repetitive one, that is going to be a repetitive focus session, which is basically the same thing every single day. Or it might be a continuation of that thing that you need to do next based on that topic. So a hyper focus session for me, for example, would obviously be doing the Duolingo, right? For example, every day, and having that as a dedicated 20 minutes that I do every day to better focus on studying, right? Or listening to a podcast, whatever it is that I'm deciding to dedicate time for, I need to put it in it has to be in the calendar, right? The next thing is, like I said, delegate. So you're obviously delegating whatever the task is for your next day, and making sure that it's already in there so that anything pops up at that time, you could tell someone, look, listen, I've got this plan that I need to do this, contact you at this time. Nothing gets in the way of this hyper focus session. This hyper focus session is connected to your plan, your goal setting, like your goal that you've set. So anything that distracts that focus session from happening means you're not going to achieve that goal, right? So it makes you very clear about, oh, hold on, I'm making a decision here that might not be the best idea right now, right? Now we need to go to system. Systems is what's going to help you to keep up with your plan, right? Your plan is the thing that helps you to achieve your goal. So what systems do you need to have in place that are going to help you to obviously keep with this plan? You need to set yourself up in an agreement. The agreement here needs to be something like a statement or something that you've said to yourself that this is what I'm committed to doing and I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to sway away from this. Like, this is what it is. This is what I'm committed to for the next 30 days or whatever the deadline is. Write a little statement here, right? So it helps you to keep up. I'd also use A as accountability as well. So if there's someone that you are doing the same goal with and you want to hold each other accountable, I think that's another great thing that you can use, accountability or an agreement with yourself, like a contract. We'll go into contracts later on in other videos because I do think creating yourself a contract is a very great way to help you to stick with your goals and stick with the things that you've said that you're going to do. So then obviously you have the next thing, which would be your distraction list. Your distractions are all the things that are likely to come up and get in the way of you doing this thing that you said that you're going to do. What can that possibly be? And you have to be really honest with yourself. Don't pretend, oh yeah, from now on I'm not going to be doing this. So, don't put it down. Put it down. What have you been doing for the last 10 years? Year? The last 6 months? The last week? What have you been doing that stopped you from doing these goals that you've been setting for yourself? Like, what's been stopping you? Is it overthinking? Is it procrastination? There'd be no more procrastination now because you've got a hyper session set. And then after that hyper session, a hyper focus session. After that session, that you've got to delegate the next task for the next day. So there is no procrastination because you're just going to do whatever the next thing is. And you have to bear in mind that your dominoes are helping you with that, because your dominoes are setting the standard for what is the actual one thing that you should be focusing on right now. You have your top 3 priorities, but then your hyper focus session is what is the one thing that I could do just now that is going to make a massive impact on everything else, that's going to speed up the process of this action list being reduced to me just basically getting to this goal, right? So distractions could be doom scrolling. Distractions could be, let me just keep it raw. It could be porn. It could be anything that's going to distract you that is likely to get in the way. Like, oh, hold on, let me just have a little cheat day. Like, let me just do this, or let me just quickly check my notifications on social media. Like, that ain't gonna get you to your goal, man. Like, you need to just be very clear on what these things are that have been distracting you up to this point. And then what you're going to do at that point when you write your distractions down is that whenever you come up to a moment where you're like, oh, do you know what? Yeah, fancy bashing the bishop right now. If you know what that means, you know what that means. Or you might say, oh, do you know what? Fancy a little cheeky snack. I'm just going to sit in the corner and just eat these snacks that I'm not supposed to be eating, but this sugar, it's going to make me tired afterwards, and my insulin levels are going to grow and get higher. But do you know what? I don't care. I want this dopamine hit right now, so I'm going to do this. Whatever those distractions are, I'm just going to scroll social media for 30 minutes. Like, it won't be too long. End up doing 2 hours in there, right? Whatever that distraction is that you end up being tempted to do, when you put that distraction list next to your desire list, it will give you a little bit more perspective on what is the most desirable thing, what is the most beneficial thing for you right now, right? And the chances are you're going to look at, is it either going to be this distraction or this desire that I want? Like, which one is more beneficial for me right now? And it's going to be very crystal clear for you that distraction is not worth it. But if you don't have a desire list, you're just going to be with that distraction, like, oh, what's the worst that's going to happen here? What the worst that's going to happen is that you're going to get into a habit that stops you from achieving your goal. That's what's the worst thing that's going to happen. So when you look at your distractions and you match them towards your desire, you get to see very clearly that those distractions are not worth it. They're just reactive ways that you are throughout your day, through boredom, through just trying to get a dopamine hit. And it's obviously the easier and best way for you to get that dopamine hit, right? That's obviously what it is. Of course, it's going to be to you in that short-term fix that you're going to get. It's like, for example, if you go to McDonald's versus going home and cooking a nice, preparing a home-cooked meal. Yeah, it's going to take you a bit longer to do that home-cooked meal, but you know what ingredients are in there, they ain't got no crap in there. You go McDonald's, you don't know what they put in the burgers, you don't know what they put in the bread, the chips, you don't even know if they're flipping potato. Like, there's just loads of things that are going to happen, right? Around that, I'm hungry, let's go McDonald's. And you go McDonald's, you enjoy that burger, so good, yeah? Until afterwards, still hungry. Like, it was a quick fix, but it didn't solve the problem in the end, right? It solved the problem temporarily, like very short term, very short-sighted, right? By preparing your meal, having it ready, you're going to feel so much better in yourself. You've made a salad. You've made a bunch of things that are going to just be beneficial to your health. If that's your goal, right? That's what this is all about. Now, H is for the habit tracker. That is all the habits that you plug in. And I will be doing a video in the future about a habit tracker that I use that this helps me basically to track all these habits. In terms of obviously doing habit tracking for language learning, of course, you just plug in all the actions that you're willing to take that day, and anytime you achieve that goal, you just obviously tick it off and you have a streak. That streak and that gamification is going to help you to keep on going, because you don't want to lose that streak. I'm very clear on that. I'm part of Skool, the Skool community, and in one of the communities that I'm in the top of the leaderboard, and it's because I'm just don't want to lose the streak. Like, I just have a streak. I just have a very clear intention for what I want people to, what type of perspective I want people to have of me, right? I want them to take me seriously. And on Skool, I don't know if you know about Skool and how it works. Obviously, I've got a link in the description of my Skool that I've created, right, from that platform. But when you have a fire emoji next to your name, it's because you've had 30-day streak of doing 10 plus activities per day. And the fact that I've done that now over 30 days, I don't want to lose that flame. So I'm just there every day doing at least 10 activities a day. And it's religion for me. It's like, it's non-negotiable. Like it has to be achieved. Yeah. So because of that, the flame's just going to be there forever. Right. And that's because I've gamified the experience. And that's because I have a habit tracker that reminds me you need to do this much, obviously, activities minimum per day. Once you've done them, obviously you check it off, and I get to see, oh, I've already done 40 days so far. Oh, and you know, my next milestone is not 30. Obviously, I've done the 30 days now. The next milestone is 365. So just doing a whole year of just being with the flame. And it's the gamification that's helping me to stick with it. Because without gamification, I won't even care about having a flame next to my name. It's because it's like a trophy. It's like a reward. It's something that helps me to stay in touch with my goal, right? So habit tracking really, really helps, man. And this is probably one of the most important parts to just start and implement in your day, because as soon as you know that you're going to miss a streak, the feeling, you don't want to have that feeling, man. Like, you don't want to have that feeling when you miss the streak, man. It's, especially when you've got ADHD, man, like, it's really annoying. So I'm just so adamant that I just want to keep this streak. So obviously anything else in my life that helps to do the same thing, I implement into my day, right? And the last one, which this video's almost coming up to an hour, man. So yeah, I'm going to try and finish this off. We got dopamine, and that's plus sign next to it, because dopamine is actually a thing that we're chasing every single day. And as we're chasing this dopamine every single day, we have to be very selective of what dopamine we are choosing to use. And basically, what you want to do is you want to only put you have to celebrate the milestones, basically. So what is it that was a dopamine plus? So what was a healthy dopamine hit that you did today? You need to write them down. So for example, you watched one of the Spanish movies that you said you're going to watch with subtitles, or without subtitles even. Maybe that was the thing that you did and it gave you a boost and it made you feel good and it gave you that dopamine hit, right? What was the thing that gave you a dopamine hit that wasn't a toxic one? Toxic ones are doom scrolling. Toxic ones are binge eating. Toxic ones are spending all day playing video games. Like, it's stuff that's so easy to do. So easy. It's a quick dopamine hit. Ooh, you get that dopamine hit, yeah? But what is the consequences after that, right? You feel crap afterwards, right? But with the positive ones, these are ones like when you achieve a goal, like when you've done your habit track and you select that you've done that thing that day, and then you can see how much your streak is. You need to use and identify what those dopamine hits are that made you feel good. And it's accomplishment. When you accomplish things, you feel great. I feel good when I've accomplished something. Yep, do you know, done this video, didn't want to do it. First video, I'm going to be a perfectionist and all that. Like, people are not going to watch it. Like, I was thinking about all this stuff. Maybe I should show myself in a video and all this. Look, listen, guys, yeah. I'm just record the video. Yeah. So now, as soon as I publish this video, I'm going to feel so good published it. Because I said I was going to publish it today, and I did. Yeah, that is a dopamine hit, but it took work to get there, right? I could have done doom scrolling today and it'd have felt the same, but guess what? I'd have felt crap afterwards. I'm not going to feel like crap after this one because it's the first one, and of course this is going to build up momentum for me to do more videos. And obviously when I get feedback from what people got from the video, or if it worked for them, if it made a difference to them, of course I'm going to get a huge dopamine hit from that. Just knowing the feedback that I'm getting is going to help me to propel me forward on my journey, right? So that's the ADHD goal setting worksheet. And now I need to edit this. I don't know if this is going to be completely raw and I just don't edit anything at all. But I do feel like maybe I might need to clip some bits. I don't know. Maybe I'll just keep it as it is, man. Like, just keep it simple. I've got to try and figure out what thumbnail I'm going to use for this. I'm going to just try and find one for now, and then I might end up changing it in the future, because obviously I want to work out what is going to obviously help people to click and understand what the benefit is of watching the video. So I know that thumbnails could be really important here, but all this stuff I'm telling you now is just being very transparent with you, man. It's my first time. It's my first time, man. Like, you know, what am I expecting now? Like 100,000 views on this? Ain't gonna happen, man. Like, it's my first video. People just warming to me. They don't know who I am. So all I know is that there's much more content to come, but it's gonna get a lot more easier the more I output. So that's what I want to do. Just gonna keep outputting this content and sharing as much value as possible. This is really helping me, man. Like, I work full time. I do this on the side, guys. If I'm able to build a community on the side through Skool, manage the community, people that are in there answering all their questions, hold a full-time job. I've got a daughter that she's a toddler. I've got to manage, you know, being a father. I've got a partner who obviously wants to have couple time in the evenings. The only time I can do this stuff is in the morning, guys. I need to wake up at 5:55. I wake up every day. And I might even make it earlier than that because I've just got too much things I want to do. And if I'm not careful, none of it will get done if I don't have these systems in place. None. What time do you think that I have, like, throughout my day? I've got a 9 to 5 and I've got a family. So I need to make this work with systems. Or I'm going to just binge on other stuff that I don't need to watch and it's going to kill my time. I much prefer making a video like this, spending 45 minutes of my day creating a video that could be evergreen. Someone next year might come across this video and makes a difference to them. There's a chance that someone can make a difference to someone. That's what this is all about. Anyway, guys, feedback would be appreciated. Just even let me know if you got to the end of this video, to be fair, because 45 minutes, I have this thing in my head that I'm just thinking, like, who's going to sit down and watch something for 45 minutes? But if it's something that they really want to implement in their life, of course they'll watch a video. I've seen videos for 3-4 hours long and it just told me what I was going to get from that 3-4 hours, and I was just like, you know what, that's worth it, right? Hopefully, you know, that people get to see what the benefit should be from obviously doing this exercise. And if you got value from this, please let me know. It'll help push the algorithm to people that are similar to you, who want the same result that you want. I don't know, man. I'm not doing all this overthinking stuff, man. I'm just going to post it and this video might blow up in 10 years time, 5 years time. I don't know. It might never be now, but I've done my bit now. I've learned from what I've did now. I might even re-record this video when I've got a bit more information on how I can present this, because I do want to try and present this in less time. 40 minutes to present a worksheet, for me, it just seems quite a lot, right? But I imagine that for people who are watching this, like, if you have got this far, I just want you to know that it won't take you as long to fill out the form, but it's really important that you sit down with it. Like, you sit down with it, because once it's completed, you've got very clear, measurable goals set for you, right? And it's the perfect way for you to start, right? So I'm gonna leave it now because I need to go. I've got a whole work day ahead of me. But thank you very much for watching the video. If you've got this far, like, you know, please, guys, like, listen, yeah, if you subscribe, I'm not letting you down. Yeah, I'm telling you now, everything I post, it has to be valuable. Like, it has to help you reach your goal. That's the only thing I care about. I'm not doing all these stupid little videos. Like, this is very important to me. I'm very passionate about this stuff, man. I ain't gonna be wasting time doing these crappy videos where, oh yeah, you know, I'm just gonna try and get some views. No. This is something that if you implement in your life, it's gonna change your life, man. Like, this is all I care about. What's gonna change your life? What's gonna solve a problem for you? That's what I'm here for, right? So yeah, you allow me to do that by watching these videos and subscribing or just giving me feedback. You allow me to do the things that I really want to do. It's less scrolling on TikTok and Instagram and checking my notifications like, oh yeah, I've got 40,000 views now. Oh yeah, great. Like, it's less of that and more this, right? So you're keeping me in check. You're keeping me with just bringing more value to you, and you're just reminding me that, look, this is where I need to be. And actually, even if people don't watch this video, I'm just proud of me just showing up and doing this anyway. But it's just all about getting it in front of the right people. That's just the key thing for me. This is not about the money for me right now. This is about just how can I get people to solve their problems that I used to face. Just before I end this video, guys, like, I need to be real with you, man. Like, I was suffering. Before I knew that I had ADHD, I suffered, man. Why am I doing the same mistakes over and over again? What's going on? Why can't I just show up and do what's required? Why do I keep getting distracted? Why do I keep saying I'm going to do something and I don't do it? Guys, if I could stop you from shaving, if I could shave off 20 years off your life of just wasting time, I hope I can do that, man. Because if I knew this stuff in my 20s, yeah, I'm not even going to put a figure on it, but yeah, I'll be making a lot more money than I'm making now, right? It is what it is. I'm doing it now. Like, I've got past that whole feeling guilty, feeling bad, like, oh, why did I know soon, all this stuff. Like, I've got past that stage now. I'm at the stage of how many people can I impact now? Like, the clock's ticking now. Like, literally got 10 years, man. Like, I want to retire in less than 10 years. Like, I want to be doing this full time. I only just want to be creating videos like this. Like, I don't want to be doing anything else. Like, yeah, be with my family, be with my partner, take her out for a meal, go family holidays, like all that stuff, right? But I really do want to, honestly, really, really want to just be doing this. Like, this is what I want to be doing with my time. Anyway, take it easy, guys. Peace.